Today's podcast is brought to you by Quantrix Modeler Introductory Training, teaching the fundamental foundation that you need to become a Quantrix master. Go to quantrixauthority.com to learn more.
Show me how you do Quantrix.
Hey, welcome back to another Netcast. I'm Rich Lopez, Quantrix Authority. Sincerely appreciate you joining me today for episode number 197, Populate Months in the series based off a relative month. So I have here a very basic model, and what I want to have happen is that if I put in a month listed here, I want this to then populate with the offset months. This would be July, August, September, October, November, December. If I were to go ahead and add an 8th month, I would then want this to be January. And I want this to update automatically, so let's say I were to put in here September, like that, then this again would be October, November, December, and so on down the list. How can I do that in Quantrix? Well, I'm going to say I want to have two more matrices to make this happen. So I'm going to call this months, okay, and then I'm going to enter two more, and I'm going to call this year, and then I'm going to call this date ref. All right, and in year, all I'm going to do with it, I'm going to bring it over to the side, is I'm just going to have a year that you input, okay? And I'm going to say, well, any month that I'm considering here, it's going to be in year 2017, or it's going to be based off of the year that I go ahead and put in this year matrix, okay? And then what I'm going to do with date ref is I'm going to create a date ref table. These happen to be one of my favorite things to create now in most of my Quantrix models, because they really help me manage time in Quantrix. So I'm going to call that year. I'm going to call this 2017, 2018. I give it a couple years like that, and then I'm going to go ahead, right click, and detect timeline. Okay, and then I'm going to take year up here to the top. I'm going to add another item, and I'm going to call this the date, and then I'm going to call one at month. And at month is equal to at of the month I'm on here, and then date is going to equal timeline date, like so. And I'm going to format that into a date so that makes sense to us. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to add another column here, and I'm going to call it date helper, if you will. Then in this date helper for month 1, I want to pull back the date of September of 2017. So this is a basic using as, where I'm going to go out here and I'm going to grab my date here using this month right here, month 1, as a month down here. And then I'm going to be using this year as my year here. When I do that, it goes ahead and gives me a date. I'm going to format that black because that's not an input cell, and I'm going to make that like this. It's going to give me 9/1 of 2017. So now what I want to do is I simply want to increment this by 1 month. All right, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to write a formula here, and let's just call this relative months. All right, I'm going to say relative months equals, I'm going to use the eDate function, and I'm going to take the start date, which is right here, and I'm going to go hashtag relative months. I'm going to see what that gives me. And it gives me 12/1, so that gives me too many. So what I'm going to do is maybe subtract 1 from that. And I'm going to skip here. I'm going to skip relative months, month 1, or skip month 1. And again, I'm going to have to put this back in. And then I'm going to also call this, month name. Sorry, that's not correct either. Call it date helper. All right. And then you can see that now it looks like it's working correctly. So a little bit of trying to figure that one out on the fly here for me. But then what happens is this becomes very simple in the fact that I simply say that month name is now equal to a select statement where I select my app month, and my key list is this, and my lookup value is now the date helper. I'm going to skip this right here, month one, and when I do that, bam, you can see that I get it perfectly. It goes July, August, September, October, November, all the way down to December, and then I start over again in January. If I were to add another couple lines, it would work. If I were to back this up and call it April, again, it backs it up for me, and it does it for me automatically. So that's how I would fill a series with a month name in Quantrix Modeler. I appreciate you being patient with me as I kind of struggled through that, but again, really awesome using this date ref, also using a little bit of e-date there, then also using this pound relative months. And what this does is this brings back the position or the index of where this particular item sets within the category. So this is position 1, this is position 2, position 3. That's what's going on right here with this pound relative months. And anyway, I think it's fantastic. If you have any questions about this, or maybe you have a better way or a faster way to do this, I'd be more than happy to hear it. I may feature you on the podcast if you do that, just because I'm willing to learn from you. So I do hope that you'll reach out to me at quantrixauthority@gmail.com with any questions that you have, and I hope that you will join me again for another episode of Quantrix Authority with Rich Lopez.